At dawn today, a quilt made by Americans across the country was unfurled. Each of the 2,000 panels bears the name of an AIDS victim. The silence spoke volumes.
What made me want to come out? I'm sick of seeing my friends die.
And when people come by the quilt today, what do you want them to think about?
That these were people who were loved, and that love is the most important thing, and that if we love each other and work together, we can beat this disease.
That last voice was from Cleve Jones, the longtime San Francisco gay rights activist who conceived the idea for the AIDS Memorial Quilt.
I had the idea for the quilt on November 27th, 1985, at the annual Candlelight Memorial to remember Supervisor Harvey Milk and Mayor George Moscone, who were assassinated on that day in 1978. Harvey was my mentor and a dear friend, and I was actually in City Hall that day. By 1985, almost everybody I knew was dead or dying or caring for someone who was dying of AIDS, and all of us were terrified, of course, and very angry. The government response was shameful, and we knew it was going to get much worse, but mostly we were grieving. So many of our friends had died, and died so horribly and died so young, and I wanted to illustrate the enormity of the crisis.
The quilt, which initially spanned a football field-sized swath of Washington, D.C.'s National Mall in October 1987, has only continued to grow. It would now cover 1.3 million square feet and weigh 54 tons if it was laid out in its entirety. And into every patch of its fragmented fabric, friends and family have stitched in over 110,000 names. For many, the quilt has served as the memorial service they never had.
Can you tell me about it?
Well, my lover died about 3 years ago. Amongst other things, of course, I was not invited to participate in the family memorial service. I was not included. In fact, I wasn't even informed as to when it was.
Was this your memorial service
This
for
is
him?
my memorial service for Don.
Just last week, 35 years after it was first unfurled on the National Mall, Cleve Jones and hundreds of supporters displayed another large portion of that quilt in San Francisco's Golden Gate Park to commemorate the anniversary.
Thanks to this quilt, all that hate and fear and despair has been replaced. And for me, this quilt is the physical embodiment of love and courage and hope.
The National AIDS Memorial website allows users to search any name on the quilt, from Liberace to Freddie Mercury to the thousands and thousands of less famous people in between. And the project has even inspired a 7th grader in California to start a quilt of her own to remember those we've lost to COVID. She got the idea from her mother, who actually worked on that AIDS quilt.
What do you see when you look at your quilt?
I don't see fabric, I don't see pictures, I see people.
There are, of course, as many differences as similarities between the HIV/AIDS crisis, which is now 4 decades old, and the COVID pandemic. But they do both disproportionately target communities of color and poorer nations around the world. 21 million people in Eastern and Southern Africa live with HIV today. That's more than half of all global cases. And COVID's death toll has been 4 times higher in lower income countries than in rich ones. But in both cases, works of art like the AIDS Memorial Quilt have served as a powerful way to process grief, in some ways to protest injustice and to stitch together a sense of community.
The quilt over time has become an extraordinary symbol of love and compassion and hope. And I'm so grateful to the fact that it connected me, to all of the parents who would never consider abandoning their child, and to all of the congregations who held their members close and never would have imagined rejecting them.